Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. We're going to read the Juneteenth proclamation. Me and the judge are. We get through it here. Okay. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January the 1st, 1863, as the nation's approach its third year of the bloody Civil War, and whereas the proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are and henceforth shall be freed, and whereas on June 19, 1865, General Gordon Gander led thousands of federal troops to Galveston, Texas to announce that the Civil War has ended and that slaves have been freed, and whereas Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration honoring the end of slavery in the United States of America, and whereas in 1996, the first legislature to recognize Juneteenth independence was introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, and I know.
And whereas on June 18, 2020, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear issued a signed and formal proclamation recognizing June 19th as Juneteenth in Kentucky and affirmed his intent to request the next General Assembly declare Juneteenth as an official state holiday for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And whereas recognition of Juneteenth reflects the Commonwealth's resounding belief of liberty and equality for every citizen. And whereas the citizens of Hopkinsville and Christian County, Kentucky, support and embrace our governor's proclamation and celebrate our diversity and common heritage. Now, therefore, we, James R. Knight Jr., Mayor, City of Hopkinsville, and Jerry Gillum, Judge Executive of Christian County, do hereby proclaim June 15, 2024 as Juneteenth Day in Hopkinsville and Christian County and encourage all citizens to pause, reflect, and embrace our shared journey of freedom. This dated the 4th day of June, 2024.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'd like to call this June 4th City Council meeting to order and call on Mr. Don Marsh, Ward 3, for the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Bruce will be here, but he told me he might run a little late, so we're going to trade places, as you know. So
Yes,
thank you
sir.
so much. I might just take a quick moment, if I can, and share just a quick word with you. But why don't we join together in prayer? Would you join me in prayer right now? Father, thank you for the promise of your word, and that is that you said there was one thing we could always ask for. We would receive it without measure, and you would never ridicule us for asking, and that is wisdom. So I ask for that tonight. I ask for wisdom and ask for faith and ask for good judgment, God, between all of our council persons and our mayor and those department heads who are here and the folks that are working in our city. That, God, we may serve the citizens of this city in a truly godly way, in a helpful way. We ask, God, that you would keep lines of communication and unity open in our city, that, God, we may work hard to work together and honor you in all that we do. We ask these things in the name of Jesus, the Son. Amen.
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 All right, we'll stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will call on the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Francis.
Here.
Councilmember Smiley. Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Crabtree.
Here.
Councilmember Craig.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Wilcox.
Here.
Councilmember Meek.
Here.
Councilmember Limburger.
Here.
Councilmember Keel.
Here.
Councilmember Bell.
Here.
Councilmember Handy.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All righty. Item 5 is public hearing on municipal road aid and local government assist fund.
Tonight, we are holding a public hearing for municipal road aid and local government assistance funds. This public hearing is being held pursuant to KRS 174.100 and KRS 42.455. It is being held to solicit comments from citizens regarding the use of municipal road aid assistance funds in the amount of $750,000 and local government economic assistance funds in the amount of $26,000. So at this time, if you have any comments you would like to share regarding the use of these funds, you can come to the podium and speak. You have 3 minutes. And this is not public comments. We'll get to that in just a little bit.
This is public hearing about the municipal road aid fund. Anyone like to come and speak? All righty. Awards and recognitions, I don't have any for that. Public comments, item 7. Anyone like to come and speak at the public comments? We come to the podium and speak. State your name and address.
70203 Hopkinsville, Oriole Drive, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Ward 3. Councilman Marsh, I got a question for you. Where am I on that list to get my ditch fixed that we talked about when you first come into office?
Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to ask our legal counsel, do we respond from the bench?
Actually, no, this is for comments, not for a dialogue.
Okay.
So we can take your questions under consideration to get back.
Okay.
But let me just answer by way of the fact that Public Works are the folks that do that. And I know that Dave Henderson was handling that, but he was promoted to Assistant Public Works Director.
He didn't do a good job then either. So
Well, I
I've
can't
been working with this
respond to
for,
that.
I've been working with this for years. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you come out to my house.
And,
You looked at it the next day, like you said, and I ain't heard a thing.
well, I'll tell you where we're at right there on that. I am working with Stormwater on that because they're trying to figure out how they want to best and get property easements so they can come in and dig that up. So because they're going to change that whole ditch line going all the way off that hill down your street.
Yeah.
We've already looked at it. Stormwater's looked at it with Mr. Bourne and me and Mr. Nichols and Ms. Workman and have talked about it with Stormwater, and they are supposed to be trying to come up with a plan to get you straightened out. I knew what you was coming to talk about when I seen you walk up there.
Well, do you have any idea when this may be? Because right now, if you come out there, it's pretty bad right now. The water's there.
Right now, you got about a foot of water in your yard. You got about a foot of water in your yard if you walk in it right now.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ditch itself, that nasty water. You can't push a mower through.
No, Right now, I'm waiting on stormwater. I do not have you a date yet. They're supposed to be letting me know, and they have not got back with me.
So when will you let me know something? I mean,
I will talk to Mr. Nichols and them about it in the morning. I have a conversation with them already in the morning.
well, I appreciate a phone call just to let me know.
Yes, sir, I will.
Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comments like to come and speak? Please speak your name and address.
Good evening, Mayor Knight, council members, and distinguished staff. My name is Allegra Pace, and I reside at 2611 Casey Mead Drive. I am here tonight to voice my opposition to urban chickens. While I so appreciate the efforts of our local police department, along with other city departments, I think at the forefront of city council would be issues such as crime, our increasing homeless population, lack of housing, sidewalks, positive activities for our youth, along with other important issues you have been addressing, but here we are tonight talking urban chickens. In a recent article, it was stated by Councilperson Lineberger that an ordinance that does not allow chickens to be raised in the city has been in place for 46 years and has been revisited and addressed several times. During this time was shot down. Well, there is a reason this ordinance has been in place for 46 years and shot down, Councilperson Lineberger. The majority of Hopkinsville doesn't want chickens or need chickens within the city limits. This is a passing fad, and it is a tack to pacify just a handful of people. Before this ordinance can be implemented, there are many legitimate questions that will need to be answered, such as who is going to police the chicken coops? Our understaffed animal control or understaffed CDS code enforcement? How are carcasses of dead chickens going to be discarded? Will an ordinance include everyone, or will it allow only those chosen via lottery? If you go the lottery route, are you ready to hear cries of discrimination or violation of rights when someone is not chosen? How much time and money has already been spent on the discussion of urban chickens? How much time will be spent in the future by City Attorney Whelan, code enforcement, and other city employees on this, and at what cost to the taxpayers? Mayor, I have shared with you personal pictures of an illegal coop that was put up next door to me. Would you want chickens roaming free in your yard? Does the coop look like something a prospective resident, which means a prospective taxpayer or a visitor to our city want to see? Did this mess and eyesore increase the value of my property? Is this in line with our Clean Up Hopkinsville campaign? The answer to all of these questions is absolutely not. I have lived and worked in Hopkinsville most all my life. I love our community. And as much as some would like, Hopkinsville will never be a Franklin, Tennessee or Port Orange, Florida. Voting yes for urban chickens will not and does not make Hopkinsville a progressive city. Mayor and council, I commend you and I thank you for what you do. So continue with other positive, progressive initiatives that the whole community wants, not a handful, to make Hopkinsville more attractive and better for all of us. I humbly ask that you vote no on any resolution for an ordinance regarding urban chickens. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to come to the podium and speak? State your name and address, please.
Debbie Powell, 2610 Casey Mead Drive. Good evening, Mayor Knight, council members, and all others here tonight. Over the past few weeks, we have heard about fun facts of backyard chickens. I'm here tonight to tell you some not so fun facts. Does anyone remember the histoplasmosis outbreak we had in the late 70s into the 90s? If you remember, it was caused by a bird roost on Pardue Lane. Many got sick and some people died. To this day, I have a friend who has lesions on his lungs caused by this virus. Backyard chickens also carry viruses. According to the Minnesota Department of Health, Salmonella and Campylobacter are germs caused from chicken droppings. They carry them on their bodies, their feet, feathers, and beaks. Even when they appear healthy and clean, germs can spread to cages, coops, bedding, plants, and soil in the area where the birds live, and to the hands, shoes, and clothing to those who care for them. Children are especially at risk for illness. Chicken coops are nasty, they smell horrible, and bring unwanted predators such as snakes and rodents. We already have hawks, owls, foxes, and raccoons. I thought we were on a cleanup campaign in our city. How do chickens beautify Hopkinsville? Are chickens going to be an asset to prospective home buyers in Hopkinsville? Don't we have enough to take care of? I ask you to vote no on a resolution for urban chickens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other body want to speak at public comments? Anyone else for public comments? All right. Seeing none, we'll move right along into mayor's comments. And I'd like to thank HES, Pennyroyal Rural Electric, our Public Works, our state and county worker road departments for the storm cleanup debris that they've been doing. And I want you to thank a lineman if you see him. They are out there working very hard and making us move forward and helping us get back on track. Thank you for your hard work. On Thursday, on June 6th, bike night at the Farmers Market from 4 to 7. Bicycles, motorcyclists, food trucks, MB Rolling will be there, and prizes will be given away on this. Our hometown hero banners will be coming out, be up at the end of June, 1st of July on that. Please get your orders in if you're interested, but these will be being put up. Public Works, Mike and their crew will be getting this took care of for us on that. On Squealing on the Square on Friday, on June the 6th at 6 p.m., come out and enjoy the barbecuing and the music, and hope everybody comes out and has a great time on that. And come out and enjoy some great barbecue. Like to give a great shout out to the Hopkinsville Tigers headed to state tournament for their baseball. Safe travels. HES had a 25-year celebration today for broadband and internet services they got out going on. We've done that today at HES. I would like to remind everyone for the 6th on June the 15th for Juneteenth celebration at the Boys and Girls Club. I would love to see everyone out there for that. We're going to have a big time with that, enjoying that. And we have the Boulevard Bash on June the 15th starting at 10 a.m. It begins at the Butler's Antique there on South Walnut and goes all the way to the AT&T store on Fort Campbell Boulevard. And we have over 20 participants, businesses along the boulevard, food, arts, and live music throughout the day. I'd like for everyone to try to get out and help and support that. And that's all I have. And we'll move into item 10, approval. Nope, item 9. Let's skip one, JR. Reports from officers and committees and special guests. And we will get into that with Mr. Tom Britton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. You have in your packet a letter that was sent to the mayor and included and copied to council members regarding poultry within the city of Hopkinsville. Right now, currently, poultry is restricted or prohibited within residential areas of the city. Two primary provisions of the code which govern that are Chapter 90, which is the animal ordinance, as well as Chapter 158, which is the zoning code. There are two mechanisms for amending the zoning code. One is for the Planning Commission to initiate an amendment to the zoning ordinance, drafting text, holding a public hearing, and making a recommendation or finding on that amendment, which could or could not go to council depending on what the recommendation is. The second way to do it is for the council by resolution and specific text to initiate an amendment. At that time, it would go to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission would hold a public hearing and provide a recommendation to this body based on the finding of fact and ultimately the council decision on whether to amend the ordinance. Following discussion by council as well as committee of the whole on this item, I have briefed our Plan Review Committee on two occasions. Our Plan Review Committee is a subcommittee of Planning Commission, which is the body that initiates and forwards items to the full body. On both occasions, the Plan Review Committee declined to initiate an amendment. So basically, the letter is reporting to you that there was a decline by the Plan Review to initiate that amendment. So where we are currently is if the council wants to proceed with an amendment to the zoning code to allow for poultry within residential districts, what the council would need to do is to adopt a resolution to initiate a zoning text amendment with specific text forwarded to the planning commission. At that time, we would undertake public hearing and make a recommendation. I've also discussed this issue with Mr. Willen. An alternate means of potentially addressing the issue is to take a look at Chapter 90 and addressing it under the animal provisions with a minor amendment to the zoning text. But I think there are a couple of options available to council that Mr. Willen can elaborate if you are inclined to pursue this.
And it's my understanding that this will be placed on the committee of the whole in August for further discussion on those options, along with some proposed sample ordinances from other cities that will be presented at that time.
Okay. All right. Thank you on that, Tom. I believe you got some subdivisions to talk about now.
Yes, sir. We got some original zonings. We are continuing to proceed with original zonings to make sure that all properties within the city of Hopkinsville have zoning protections. This past month, we took a look at Shadowood, and the commission initiated original zoning to zone the Shadowood subdivision to R1. Shadowood subdivision is located in the western part of the city off of Old Major Lane, consists of 58 lots. I believe 57 of the 58 are developed. This subdivision was platted back in the mid-2000s, annexed into the city in 2010, and has remained unzoned. The properties in this area have all been developed single-family housing, and the lot sizes correspond with an R1 zoning district. Planning Commission held a public hearing on this and is providing a favorable recommendation to the council for the original zoning of R1. The commission found that the original zoning was in agreement with the comprehensive plan because this area is designated as low to medium density residential, which the R1 district is a low density district. It aligns with existing development patterns and existing trends in the area, and this would be conforming with the uses which have already been built on the property. Mr. Mayor, if any council members have any questions regarding the recommendation of the commission, be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Tom?
I'd just like to make a motion. We send this to the clerk.
Second.
We got motion by Mr. Councilman Keel and Councilman Amy. Thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Tom, thank you very much, sir. All righty. Now we'll get into approval of minutes. We'll get back on track here.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes.
Second.
I've got Ms. Craig and Councilman Marsh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. We move into item 11, ordinances. Ordinance 13-2024, FY 23-24 operational budget amendment.
Amending the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky annual budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Summary, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, by summary, Section 1 of Ordinance 09-2024, adopting the annual budget for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024 is amended as follows. Revenue, General Fund, $51,925,124. Municipal Road Aid, $683,722. Prior year, $2,292,052. Total revenues, $54,900,898. Expenses, General Fund, $54,217,176. Municipal Road Aid Fund, $683,722. Total expenses, $50,900,898. Surplus zero. Section 2, the full text of this ordinance is on file in the office of the undersigned city clerk of the City of Hopkinsville at 715 South Virginia Street, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where it is available for public inspection between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All righty. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Don and Travis. All righty. Any discussion? All righty. I'll call on the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox,
Yes.
Councilmember Meek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lomberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Keel,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Handy,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh,
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig.
Yes.
And that does pass on second reading.
All righty. Ordinance 14-2024, FY 23-24 capital budget amendment.
Amending the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky annual capital equipment and property replacement budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1 of Ordinance 05-2024, amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 capital equipment and property replacement budget is amended as follows. Revenue transfer from general fund, $2,500,585. Transfer from general fund wins, insurance premium, $244,675. Transfer from general fund police department, $173,909. Insurance proceeds, $89,045. Prior year revenue capital reserve, $122,216. Prior year revenue capital equipment reserve, $1,686,606. Total capital revenues, $4,322,036. Expenses, administration, $70,000. Information technology, $70,000. Police, $1,102,560. Fire, $1,492,476. Fire prevention, $155,000. City maintenance, $542,000. Parks and recreation, $140,000. Sportsplex, $75,000. Water park, $125,000. Buildings and properties, $550,000. Total capital expenses, $4,322,036. Surplus deficit, 0. Section 2, if any section, subsection, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is for any reason held unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such infirmity shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Section 3, any and all existing ordinances inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect after its passage and publication according to law.
All righty.
So moved. Second.
Amy and who's, Jamie? Thank you. Any discussion on this? See nothing, I'll call the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox,
Yes.
Councilmember Meek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lumberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Keel,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Handy,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh,
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig.
Yes.
And that does pass on second reading.
All righty. Ordinance 15-2024, Fire Station 5 bonding, second reading.
An ordinance of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, authorizing the issuance of its general obligation bond, Series 2024A, in the approximate aggregate principal amount of $6 million, which principal amount may be increased by up to $600,000 or decreased by any amount, to finance the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of one, renovations to convert an existing office building into a new training center and 24-hour fire station, and 2, an apparatus bay with 3 truck bays and support spaces for the new fire station. Approving the form of the bonds, authorizing the designated officers of the city to execute and deliver the bonds, authorizing and directing the filing of a notice with the state local debt officer, providing for the payment and security for the bonds, establishing a bond payment fund for the bonds, affirming the maintenance of the city's existing sinking fund, authorizing the acceptance of the bid of the purchaser for the bonds, and repealing inconsistent ordinances. Summary, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. The ordinance authorizes the issuance of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky of a series of general obligation bonds designated as the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky General Obligations Bonds, Series 2024A. For the purposes of financing all or a portion of cost of acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of A, renovations to convert an existing office building into a new training center and 24-hour fire station for the Hopkinsville Fire Department, and B, an apparatus bay with truck bays and support spaces for the new fire station. 2, paying capitalized interest on the bonds if desirable. 3, paying the cost of the credit enhancement for the bonds, if any, and 4, paying the cost of issuance of the bonds. Provisions are made in the ordinance for the payment of the bonds, the security for the bonds, the application of the proceeds of the bonds, the creation of a bond payment fund, and the continuation of the city's previously established sinking fund. The ordinance also contains certain covenants made by the city in connection with the bonds. The bonds are to be sold at public competitive sale and shall mature or be subject to mandatory sinking fund redemption in varying amounts on August 1st of each year, commencing on August 1st, 2025 through and including August 1st, 2044. The bonds pledge the full faith, credit, and taxing power of the city, and provision has been made for the collection of a tax to pay the principal and interest due on the bonds. subject to certain credits as provided in Section 8 of the ordinance. The sale of the bonds and contingent upon the satisfaction of the requirements and conditions of the city relating to the project. As required by KRS Section 83A.060, the following Section 8 of the ordinance is set forth in its entirety. Section 8, General Obligations. The bond shall be full general obligations of the city, and the full faith, credit, and taxing power of the city are hereby pledged for the prompt payment of the bonds and the interest thereon. During the period of the bonds are outstanding, there shall be and thereby is levied annually on all taxable property in the city, in addition to all other taxes without limitation as to rate, direct in an amount sufficient to pay the principal of an interest on the bonds as when due. It being hereby found and determined that the current tax rates of the city are within all applicable limitations, the tax shall be and is hereby ordered to be computed, certified, levied, and extended upon the tax duplicate, to be collected by the same officers in the same manner and at the same time that taxes for general purposes for each of the years are certified, extended, and collected. The tax shall be placed before and in preference to all other items and for the full amount thereof. However, that in each year, the extent that other lawfully available funds of the city are available for the payment of the bonds and are appropriated for such purpose, the amount of such direct upon tax upon all taxable property in the city shall be reduced by the amount of such other funds so available and appropriated.
All righty. Need a motion?
Motion.
Don?
Second.
Amy? Any discussion? All righty. I call the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox?
Yes.
Councilmember Meek?
Yes.
Councilmember Lineberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Councilmember Bell?
Yes.
Councilmember Handy?
Yes.
Councilmember Francis?
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh?
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree?
Yes.
Councilmember Craig?
Yes.
That passes on second reading.
All righty. Ordinance 16-2024, FY 24-25 operational budget, second reading.
Adopting the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky annual budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Summary, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, by summary, the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget of the City of Hopkinsville is hereby adopted as follows. Revenue General Fund, $51,194,831. Municipal Road Aid Fund, $776,690. Prior year, $148,619. Total revenues, $52,120,140. Expenses General Fund, $51,194,831. Municipal Road Aid Fund, $925,309. Total expenses, $52,120,140. Surplus, zero. Section 2 adopts the classification and compensation plan pursuant to Chapter 30 of the Hopkinsville Code of Ordinances. Section 3 sets authorization to enter into contracts or agreements within budgeted allocations. The full text of this ordinance is on file in the office of the undersigned city clerk of the City of Hopkinsville at 715 South Virginia Street, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where it is available for the public inspection between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All righty. Need a Terry?
Second.
Second by Travis Martin, Councilman. Any discussion? Seeing none, we call the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox?
Yes.
Councilmember Meek?
Yes.
Councilmember Lineberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Councilmember Bell?
Yes.
Councilmember Handy?
Yes.
Councilmember Francis?
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh?
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree?
Yes.
Councilmember Craig?
Yes.
That passes on second reading.
All righty. Ordinance 17-2024, FY 24-25 capital budget, second reading.
Adopting the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky annual capital equipment and property replacement budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, the fiscal year 2024-2025 capital equipment and property replacement budget of the City of Hopkinsville is hereby adopted as follows. Revenues, transfer from general fund, $1,987,916. Transfer from general fund wins additional insurance premium, $258,296. Transfer from general fund, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, GSA contract, $100,000. Transfer from general fund police department, $40,956. Total capital revenues, $2,387,168. Expenses, information technology, $252,000. Police department, $373,909. Fire department, $450,000. City maintenance, $450,000. Fort Campbell contracts, $100,000. Service center, $25,000. Parks and recreation, $125,000. Buildings and properties, $550,000. Transfer to MRA, $60,000. Total capital expenses, $2,385,909. Surplus deficit, 1,259. Section 2, the mayor is hereby authorized to enter into any contracts or agreements necessary to acquire capital equipment or services within the allocations listed in this ordinance. Section 3, if any section, subsection, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is for any reason held unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such infirmity shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Section 4, any and all existing ordinances inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Section 5, this ordinance will take effect July 1st, 2024, after its passage and publication according to law.
All right, need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Amy and Travis, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox?
Yes.
Councilmember Meek?
Yes.
Councilmember Lumberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Councilmember Bell?
Yes.
Councilmember Handy?
Yes.
Councilmember Francis?
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh?
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree?
Yes.
Councilmember Craig?
Yes.
That passes on second reading.
Righty. Item 12, municipal order 18-2024.
Whereas the city of Hopkinsville has been notified of the availability of the grant funds through the Transportation Alternative Program, TAP, a program of the Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration and administered by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And whereas these funds are intended for use towards the design and construction of Phase 3 of the Hopkinsville Greenway System. And whereas the total project cost is estimated at $3,873,896.16. And whereas the grant requirements stipulate a 20% match of funds. Now therefore be it ordered, Hopkinsville City Council authorizes 20% matching funds up to $774,779.23, and further authorizes the mayor to sign the Transportation Alternatives Program grant documents, memorandum of agreement, and all related documents for the design and construction of approximately 7,740 linear feet of new trail.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Chuck?
We had a discussion, you and I did before this meeting.
Yes, sir. It's
What
on the
is-
drawing there.
What is going to be the route and what is going to be the route across the bypass?
It will be a bridge across the bypass on this.
Okay, but this is not going to get us all the way there, correct?
Correct, because we had some more conversations with them after me and you had a conversation the other day, and we had some conversations with other council members. The original plan that we talked to with the state would take us all the way down to Lafette Road, cross there at Huck's, and cross over at Huck's. But as me and you discussed, Chuck, and other council members, it becomes a safety issue with crossing the road there at the bypass with a crosswalk. There's no way that I can firmly say, be safe to say that someone would not get hurt or cost of life there if we crossed at the bypass at Hucks and Lafette Road, because everyone knows people run red lights and kids don't always watch the crosswalk and they dart across thinking they can beat a car. Now, going back to this, I have in front of y'all a new drawing because Mike and them done part of it and Tony did today down in CDS. And Stacy or Melissa, can you talk about this just a minute, please? Because with this, we come up with putting a bridge across right at Station 4 on this. Okay, it's on your drawing. It comes off right past Station 4, comes over and at an angle, so the ramp up is not just straight up and right over. It comes at an angle and comes over the bypass. With this kind of money, we're talking roughly 6 million instead of 3.7 million. Okay? But I rounded off 4 million or 6 million. $2 million is not worth a child's life or a pedestrian's life if somebody runs that stoplight, or they swerve off the side of the road there to turn right going up Lafayette Road, when like 90% of us do. And I include myself. You know, so where this is, Miss Stacy can feed us a little bit of information so we can talk about it.
Okay, so this depiction shows the trail starting where it currently ends at Boston Chapel, heading straight towards the bypass. Once you hit the bypass, you'll make a right. And then just past, this is just a really rough drawing. I'm waiting on the engineer to come up with an actual better drawing. So it'll cross on an angle pretty much like that, we believe, the bridge, and then we'll come down to the entrance of Tiebreaker Park, Bluegrass Splash, so that there's sidewalks from the parking lot that they can use to get to that section and then access the trail from there.
Okay. Now, what was that total figure that you had so everybody knows it?
The total amount is $6,534,048.39.
That way y'all do all know it, all 12 council members know it, or 11 tonight.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
How do we get from the 4 million
Mm-hmm.
to the 6.5?
Because of the bridge going over.
No.
How are we gonna
Where we
get the
gonna get it?
That's through a grant, through the TAP grant, and we will be out roughly 1.5 million, 1.6 million on that.
A little over 1.3.
1.3, all right, Mike's good.
20%.
Right. 1.3 million, yes.
So instead of,
Roughly 600,000.
Right, 600,000 more. Because it,
basically, we're looking at 1.3 total.
on our side, on our
the
part of it,
match.
on our matching
on our
part,
match?
Okay.
on our match. Because if the TAP grant, if they grant us this money, we'll be out 1.3 million.
So if they grant the money, about 5.2 million will come from Federal Highway Administration through the TAP grant, and 1.3 would be what the city would put up
So
for
does
that.
that grant need to be edited?
It's got it right here in our hands, right
I've
here.
got a revised MO
We
for
got a
you
okay.
guys,
revised group right here.
Okay.
depending on how you guys want to go.
Okay.
We do have a revised group, so we can talk about that
Okay.
right here. Because I wasn't going to let y'all go on that. Any more questions, Chuck, you're thinking? Travis,
I'll
go
just
ahead.
say, I think the bridge is the way to go because, we started talking about this earlier in the week and. as
Yes,
soon
we've
as
been
you-
talking about it.
As soon as you said getting down to Lafayette Road and crossing over towards Hucks,
Crosswalk.
as a crosswalk,
Well, I was lost at it too, because I really don't want to put nobody's life in danger. And I know how
And
my
it-
kids were.
it just takes one. It just takes not even, somebody getting hurt.
Right.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say one thing for clarification, just for the public's sake, is that there's no guarantee we're going to get this grant either.
Right,
So, I
there's no
mean,
guarantee. We're going to
you know,
try
we're
for
going
it.
to try, and then if we don't get it, we try again next year, correct? So, I mean,
Correct.
The
we
next
don't
time
know
it
for sure
opens.
that this is going to happen. So I just wanted to make sure I throw that out there.
Steve, you had something to say?
kind of based on that, I agree wholeheartedly. The bridge is the way to go. When would we find out, first off, when would we find out if we got the grant? And how do we plan on sourcing $1.3 million to pay our match? Because we're looking, are we talking another bond? That's,
Part of
I
that would be.
love the bridge. I don't love the price tag of the bridge when we're just agreed to
Ms.
spend $9
Clayton?
million on the fire station.
I believe we find out in September,
August or September is what they told me
August
on
or
award.
September. We would find out the award. I think we will have 3 years to come up with the grant match.
Right.
So it would not take effect immediately. We would have 3 years. We had originally talked about when it was the 700,000, doing 250 a year for 3 years. We obviously will have to up that if we receive this grant. And we would find out in August or September.
So we don't have to source it all at once?
No,
That's good.
No.
Okay,
no, we do not have to source it all at one time. We have 3 years to do that.
that makes me feel better.
Any more questions for Ms. Stacy or me?
Nobody likes to be the guy that talks about,
Hey,
how
this
we-
money, you
how we
gotta
spend
talk about it.
where's it coming
This is
from?
taxpayers' money. We gotta know where we're gonna spend it. So, any other questions? All righty.
Do we need the revised
We
MO?
need a motion to approve as amended.
Revised.
Yes, as amended, yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Travis, second by Amy. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I think we need to do a roll on that one. Didn't hear a lot in that.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilcox,
Yes.
Councilmember Meek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lumberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Keel,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Handy,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh,
Yes.
Councilmember Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig,
Yes.
and that passes as amended.
All righty. Executive orders. 10-2024 Penny Roll Area Museum Board of Directors.
Effective July 1st, 2024, BJ Casey, Kylie Killebrew, and Jordan Talley shall be reappointed to the Penny Roll Area Museum Board of Directors. These terms shall expire June 30th, 2028.
No action required. All righty. Executive Order 11-2024 Hopkinsville Electric System.
Motion.
Second.
Travis and Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, that passes. Executive Order 12-2024 Policemen and Fire Pension Board of Trustees.
Effective July 1st, 2024, Fire Chief Steve Futrell and Police Chief Jason Newby shall be reappointed to the Policemen's and Firemen's Pension Fund Board of Trustees. These terms shall expire June 30th, 2025.
Need a motion?
No actions
No
required on
action
this
on
one.
this? Okay. All righty. Executive Order 13-2024 Hopkinsville Christian County Conference Center.
Effective immediately, Tony Henson shall be appointed to the Hopkinsville Christian County Conference Center Corporation Board to fill the unexpired term of Tab Brockman. This term shall expire November 30th, 2026. We do need a motion and a second on this one.
Motion.
Jamie. Truck. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. Item 14, other. We have any other business we need to discuss? All righty. Item 15, council members' comments.
I got one.
Travis Martin,
So
please.
I got a couple things here, and I'll try to go fast. A few weeks ago, I was tagged on a Facebook post of a friend of mine. Her grandfather had passed away, and his funeral was scheduled for the same day at 2 o'clock. Her grandfather was a retired service member, and he was being buried at the Veterans Cemetery in Hopkinsville. Earlier that same morning, her family received a call saying that the VFW did not have a crew to send out to do the 21-gun salute that day. Her post was begging for help because the 21-gun salute was very important to the family and even the late service member. I immediately sent a text group that included Chief Jason Newby, Sheriff Tyler DeArmond, and Jailer Adam Smith, asking if they had any suggestions. They all three jumped into action. None of them had ever said, "I'm not sure if we can pull this off." Instead, they said, "Give me just a few minutes to make this happen." Within about 20 minutes, Sheriff DeArmond had spoke to the family and told them they would take care of the 21-gun salute. Turns out the jail has a color guard team, but after trying to get that team together on very short notice, it didn't happen. Instead of giving up, which they easily could have done, they figured out a way to get the job done. Sheriff DeArmond took officers off the streets and compiled the team together. After talking to Tyler later that afternoon, he even said, "We've never done anything like this before. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll get it done." He even said they went out in the parking lot of the sheriff's department and practiced that afternoon around lunchtime. I spoke to the family hours after the funeral, and they said Tyler and his team were awesome, and they were very appreciative. I told them the crew was somewhat nervous, and the family said they would have never guessed it was the first time performing the salute. They said their late family member would have been very pleased. So I personally want to thank Chief Jason Newby, Jailer Adam Smith, and Sheriff Tyler DeArmond and their crew for a job very well done. If I had to guess it, none of these servants would want this light shined on them, but the family wanted me to share this story and get it out in the public. People are very often and quick and loud when they think our police partners are wrong, but I also believe in praising them when they do what's right. And I'm proud of these guys, and the community should be proud of them as well.
Amen.
So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And then the second one, I know the mayor said this earlier. He mentioned the HHS baseball team. I just want to give them congratulations for winning the region tournament this last week. They'll be playing in the state tournament in Lexington later on this week. I also want to congratulate UHA as well. They're going to be a really good team in this area for the next few years. So I mean, they're going to be a problem for a while. So we had an all Hopkinsville region championship game in Hopkinsville this past week, and it was great. I mean, there was some very high level baseball played in Hopkinsville last week, and we should all really be proud of what happened last week. And I know Carter's sitting there. Congrats to him. HHS and UHA had the state track meet this past weekend. They brought home several medals as well. So congrats to all the schools and on their athletic accomplishments. I know I'm leaving somebody out. I'm sorry, but it was a great past couple weeks for high school sports around here.
Anybody else got any councilman comments? Thank you, Travis. All righty. I will move into item 16, closed session to discuss economic development proposals. I will need a motion to move into KRS. Got a motion?
For the record, that motion is pursuant to KRS 61.810 paren 1 paren G.
Okay.
You vote on that.
We have a motion.
Yeah, we need a vote on that now. Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. We are going into closed session. Darryl better hurry up, Andy. All righty, we're back out of closed session. We are now down to item 17. No action was taken in closed session. So we will move into item 17, adjournment. All those in favor? Oh, no, we gotta go back to Don. I was gonna cut Don. Don, I cut you off, baby.
I was just going to say aye, let's just get it over. No, I'm sorry to miss Bruce tonight. I pray that everything's is okay. We'll switch places next time. I've been out all day, so my phone died on me. I can't quote exactly, but I'm thinking about a Sean Covey quote where he said, "Notice, friends, that the urgent things of life are constantly demanding our attention and our time, while the important things usually stand in line and wait patiently for us to pay attention." So his thought is, let's make sure that we choose the important things and not focus on the urgent things only. And I think we've done that tonight through actions that we've taken to ensure the safety of the citizens of Hopkinsville and work to serve them as best we can. I think that's a focus that we need to keep in our minds, is that as citizens of Hopkinsville have needs, they need to contact us directly, please. That's why we publish our phone numbers, on the city's website and so forth, so that we can serve them. Because Proverbs, I'm going to try to quote this as best I can without my Bible or phone right now, but it's Proverbs chapter 11, I think it's verse 28. It says that when people are generous to those in need, they find favor. And if people look for evil, it finds them. So I think that's the important thing for us to keep in mind. With that, I suggest that we move that we adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank y'all, ladies and gentlemen.